From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Why are you a conspiracy theorist? And I said, why isn't everybody a goddamn conspiracy theorist?
This is the real research. Literally have an alien base, and they are literally communicating.
I don't have a whole lot of time.
Have you personally had any experience with interdimensional beings?
What we're thinking of as aliens, they have infiltrated a lot of aspects of military intelligence. And they are not what they claim to be.
We leave you much that is undone.
That's one small step for man.
There are great ideas undiscovered.
Visit asteroids, visit the moon of Mars.
Remove one of truth's protective layers.
There's a monolith.
They want the major population centers wiped out.
Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
One giant leap for mankind.
Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened.
Those challenges are yours.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
There are places to go beyond belief. Beyond belief.
Welcome to the Daily Conspiracy Podcast. We don't take days off because reptilians don't take days off. And today we are joined by Dave Weiss. Thanks for coming back on the show, mate. Well, last time you joined us, we were Alien Addict, and now we've completely rebranded the show. And we cover more things than fake aliens.
There's a whole show in just what you just said. So first, who's the reptile? You guys or me?
No, that's like our tagline.
Okay. And when I did your show, it was alien podcasts. You guys were definitely not flat earthers. I'm not saying that you are now. We'll figure that out. But you were globe earthers with aliens from outer space. Is that correct?
No, Ollie. No, I think Ollie's 50-50 on flat Earth. I'm more of like, the craziness that's gone on over the past few years. I don't know if it turned out that there was a presentation tomorrow on the television and said, yeah, sorry about this, we lied all along the ice walls over there. Yeah, okay, probably.
Yeah, all right. Well, the ice wall is right over there, so we can show you that another time. But thanks for having me on again. Good to talk to you guys.
It's an absolute pleasure, man. It is an absolute pleasure. And they always call me the closet flat earther, but for all I know, it's a simulation.
Well, you know what? That doesn't exclude flat Earth. When we look at the way I see the Earth is we live in this double toroid, if you know what a double toroid looks like. And in the middle of those toroids is this dielectric flat plane. So if the entire toroid's 100% of the system, the soul system that we live in, not the soul lure system, the soul system, that the plane that we live on, the physical plane of reality, that's 1% or even less than 1%. We'll call it 1% though. The rest is non-physical spiritual. So that to me sounds like a simulation, because in this world, I know, and people are learning quickly, that your thoughts create your reality. Your thoughts create physicality. Mm-hmm. That sounds like some crazy physical simulation to me.
No, I've always been down with, even before I was a conspiracy theorist type person. I've said this on the show before. I hate football, soccer to you guys, but all my friends when I was younger would always have to go and watch football matches and stuff. And It was when I noticed you could feel how plays were going to change in sport by how the energy built up in rooms and how the energy built up in live sporting events.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I thought, well, I feel like people are influencing what's going on here, not just players on a pitch.
Absolutely. It's all about the energy. Your life is your fault. It's how you think, which creates your reality. Mm-hmm. I had a good point I was going to make that you were talking about, and it just slipped my mind, but it'll come back to me. Go ahead. That'll come back.
While you're waiting on that thoughts, I really wanted to, and I kind of want to get this in at the beginning, because we had Hibbler on a few a couple of months ago. Then we had Mark Sargent again, and we had to ask him about the final experiment. So
sure,
it's only fair that we ask you, Dave, about the final experiment.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Do you know what neuro-linguistic programming is? It happens to us all the time. People say things in certain ways. Like I was on a podcast yesterday, and I would show somebody something, and I say, "Is this or is it that?" And then the argument is over which one it is. The truth is, it's neither. Right. So and I said, I said one of these is bigger than the other, or whatever it was. Right. So they stored that as a truth. That's the neuro-linguistic programming. And then they argued over which one was bigger. Okay. So the final experiment, this is a final experiment. You store that as the basis of if the sun does this, then that, and if the sun does that, then this. Right. So so it's a false binary. I have a good sense of people. And when Pastor or fake pastor, I call him fake Pastor Duffy, actually introduced himself to me long before the final experiment was even announced. He's like, "Oh, Dave, big fan, can I get a picture with you?" And he does this picture. He's going, shooting, pointing his finger at me, making a face. I just got the creepiest feeling. I was like, "Hey, do you have a channel? Do I know you?" He goes, "No, not really, but you will soon." And he just leaves, right? And I was like, what a creep. And then this whole thing came out. I saw through it from the first email he sent out. Like, "Hey, we got this experiment coming up. In 30 days, you're going to find out." I said, "Just tell me what it is, and I'll tell you if it's something legit." He goes, "Nope, you got to wait." I said, "Never email me again. I don't want anything to do with this." So with that said, on the flat earth, we can explain the sun a whole bunch of different ways. The Freemasons say that there's a black sun in the center, in the North Pole, projecting up onto the dome sky. And then that's reflecting out into the southern sky. And there's a lot of information on it. That could be true. Let's even say it's a remote possibility. The ancient civilizations talk about domes over domes over domes, and the sun is being projected in from the top. And that's interesting. That's a possibility. Can't rule it out. And there's a whole bunch of flat earth ideas of what the sun is. Flat earthers say, we don't know what the sun is. We don't know how far it is. We don't know how big it is. We do know it's close. And we can prove that, but we don't know how close. Is it 3,000 miles or is it 30 miles? We don't know. And then, go ahead. I'm going to make my point, but you want to say something?
I was just going to say, do you think they were fooled when they were there, or do you think they were seeing?
I'll answer that.
Sun?
I'll answer that in a second. And so all of the flat Earth explanations for the sun are physically possible. The heliocentric explanation for the sun is helium and hydrogen, which the sun is 99% helium and hydrogen. Helium and hydrogen defy gravity on Earth. If I had a box of helium and hydrogen and I opened it up in a room that had low pressure or no pressure, it would immediately violently fill the available space. Except in space, when you have a ton of helium and hydrogen, it turns into a burning sun that burns 640 billion tons a day or an hour or something stupid like that, right? For billions of years, never gets any smaller. It has enough gravity to hold on to Pluto, but it ignores our moon. When our moon comes around the Earth towards the sun, it doesn't speed up. When it pulls away from the sun, it doesn't slow down. Like, why does the sun's gravity hold on to Pluto and Neptune, but ignore our moon, right? It's all this mental gymnastics, but helium and hydrogen in a void of space violates natural law. Therefore, that light in the sky, to say if the light circles, the Earth is a globe, and if it doesn't, it's flat, is a false binary. It's insane to believe. If you believe that a circling sun, which they saw, a circling light in the sky, if you believe that determines the shape of the floor, you're not thinking. You've been psyoped. You've been neuro-linguistically programmed. And, well, flat earthers can't explain it. You can explain it on a flat or on a globe Earth. The truth is, it doesn't even work on a globe Earth. There's a new movie that just came out, 3.5 hours. It's called Antarctica. SCAMTARCITA. It's going to be on my channel on this Friday, but you can find it on the Globe. It's on the Space Busters channel, and it is worth the watch, boys. Watch this. It's the end of the globe. The globe is finished, right? When you see this, you understand how Antarctica, he calls it Fantasy Island, and it is. So you ask me, do I think they faked it? Me and Marty Leeds and a group of other people, some whistleblower from Microsoft and others, we believe that they faked the sun in the sky. And Austin and even Jaron, who his whole story is another thing. We're fooled. I think that some of them were in it, like Looney Tunes and Duffy. I even wonder sometimes maybe Duffy was even fooled. But here's the thing: at Union Glacier, there's like 360 cloudy days a year. Okay, it's rarely ever sunny there. Right? Maybe there's some more sunny days than that, but it's always cloudy. Every video, except very, very few, it's overcast, cloudy, hazy. And when I refused to go, and they did crazy things to try to get me to go, because this was all about taking me down and taking my Flat Earth clock app down because it's waking up too many people. That's what this thing was designed for. That's not my ego talking. That is why this thing was designed for. But when I refused to go and they couldn't get every influencer in my life to convince me to go, they went to Jaron, and Jaron said, well, I'm not going alone. I want to bring Austin with me. Boom. Okay, Austin, go. And he says, I said, you know what? They could fake the sun in the sky. He goes, they can't fake the sun. I go, what about behind clouds? If you see a bright light behind the clouds, I go, that could be faked. He agreed. And he said, though, Duffy, he goes, if it's cloudy, we're not going to accept the answer. And Duffy's response was this: if it's even hazy, we'll call it a win for Flat Earth. Think about that. If it's even hazy, so we'll call it a win for Flat Earth. Went to all this expense, flying all these guys down there, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, dedicating his whole life to this. Crazy. And the day they got there, the people that were getting on the plane said, we haven't seen the sun in 3 months, and you get this blue sky day. I call it 9/11 blue. I know guys live in the United States.
Wow.
On the morning of 9/11, it was the bluest sky ever, and it was that blue down there. And so a lot of people think that Jaron and Austin were in on it, right? That's a theory. They were in on it. Jaron was a shill from the beginning. That's a theory. Okay. I think they faked the sun. Me and Marty Leeds, we did a whole presentation on it. And Microsoft is heavily involved in the globe deception. They're involved they have contracts with NASA and the International Space Station. When the guys are floating stuff around on the station, they're actually wearing HoloLens goggles, but we can't see the goggles because they're taken off and their faces are rendered in real time. And that's why we see glitches all the time, because everything is being rendered with AI. And this Microsoft whistleblower, he pointed out, he said, if you're going to do a technical operation like this, right? And Microsoft publicly has, they say they can project images into the sky, plasma balls into the sky, and not even need a screen. Don't need moisture. Don't need it. They can project it into thin air. Interesting, because in Antarctica, if you believe there's a dome, there's like a plasma layer. It's lower. I mean, it could be the perfect place to do it. But he said this. This is interesting. The number one guy in the world qualified to oversee an operation like this is this guy, and I'm not going to say his name, that like a high up guy at Microsoft, right? Okay, cool. He's the number one guy in the world. Guess where he was during TFE? He was vacationing in Antarctica. Doesn't prove anything. I remember what I was going to say. I remember what I was going to say earlier. You guys call yourselves, you said, before I was a conspiracy theorist. So what you're saying is, before I was a critical thinker and I just believed everything I was told.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
Before. So you're not a conspiracy theorist. You're a conspiracy analyst.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Fair. We look at shit and we think about it rather than just go, well, NASA said it, must be true. Government said it, must be true. Hey, Bibi, Benton Netanyahu, whatever his name is. Since 1990, every year, he's like, Iran is 3 months away from getting the nuke. 1992. Now, Iran is just months away from getting a nuke. Every friggin' year, all the way up to now, they're about to get it's all bullshit. But
I'm with you with the nukes. Yeah, I think they're fake. I
know they're fake. I know they're fake. And anyone that thinks that doesn't, what? Nukes are fake? What about Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. Go to my website, flatearthdave.com. Scroll down. You'll see a nuclear bombs banner. Click it. There's some podcasts by Crow 777 Radio. Listen to them. Judge for yourself. But the information is there if you want to consume it. You can lead a man to knowledge, but you can't make them think.
Okay, you're leading me on to a question here then. So do you think, so with the and it always seems like an intimate
you can't talk either. I can't talk, yeah. The gremlins are doing everything they can to stop the show. We had audio problems, we had internet problems. You can't talk. right? It's a spiritual war we're in.
But it seems like a threat that is about to come true. You know, that there is nuclear war, a nuclear war just about to explode.
Well, that's what they want. You need fear. They need to fear. Yeah,
So,
no, everything's fake. Every war is fake. Don't get me wrong. People die, right? Order followers go and kill other order followers. But how many people has Netanyahu killed with himself or Bush or anybody, right? They just get other order followers to kill other order followers, right? Do you hate Russia? Do you hate Iran? Do you hate Israel? You personally?
No.
You don't even know what you know, like who, what, you know, you meet a Russian person, let's go have a beer. It doesn't matter. It's all of this division is fake, right? It's about population control, people control, mind control. It's you know, if you have people living scared and sick and weak and working paycheck to paycheck, that's how you control the world.
I agree with all of that. When do you think that was put into place?
Which thing?
The control structure that we're in.
It started in the late 1800s, very early 1900s. They were still teaching flat Earth in public schools here in Connecticut, countrywide in the mid 1920s.
I saw the video you did with the lady.
With Ruth, yeah. And we found out some other people that were in high school in the 50s, and they said that they were teaching flat Earth then also in the 50s. Right. It wasn't until 1959, I think, that they took the azimuthal equidistant map out of all the textbooks, out of the libraries, and no one's even, you know, the flat Earth map, if you will. And no one's even, nobody even knows to question about it unless you find it. But we are living in the apocalypse, which is the greatest thing ever. The apocalypse is the lifting of the veil. People are waking up. Consciousness is rising. You know, people don't understand. They say, don't go out in the sun. It gives you cancer. Put these cancerous chemicals on your body to protect you from the sun, from getting cancer, right? It's retarded, right? Don't look at the sun. Don't worship the sun. The sun gives us life. The sun is literally, you know, it might be the eye of God looking down upon us. I don't know, but the sun is consciousness. We get our consciousnness from the sun. That's my opinion. You know, shoot me if you want.
You could make a real good argument that every religion is some
worships
form
the
of
sun.
sun worship.
Yeah. And they all have the same thing. The sun dies on the 21st of December, and then it rises. Well, that's the sun. It dies. It stops going outwards. It stays still for 3 days, and then it comes back north and it rises. Right. So there's the sun rising on Christmas, and it's incredible. The sun makes you see. It feeds you. It warms you. Let's say the sun didn't rise tomorrow and it was dark. No one knows what's going on. It's been a month. Okay. Half the people in your town are dead because they all killed each other. Everyone's freaking out. And then all of a sudden the sun rises. First words out of your mouth. First words. First words.
What the
Thank
fuck?
God. Thank God. Thank God. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank God. There's no other words that you would ever say. That's it. It's interesting.
Well, I said what the fuck, but I'm
Well, yeah,
sorry.
what the fuck? What the fuck works also. That works also. Like,
Yeah, I've often said that realistically
after what the fuck, you would say thank God.
Yes.
So
If you take two generations, if you take two generations of people out, I think you can cover up an awful lot of history in a short amount of time.
I think if you take 2 days, you can make nobody remembers what happened yesterday, right? But you're right. 2 generations, 3 generations, it's over. Like, you know your grandparents, right?
Yeah.
You know your grandparents' parents, great grandparents. Do you ever meet them?
Yeah.
You do?
No.
You have?
No. That's
You haven't.
No.
What are their parents? Your great grandparents' parents' names? You don't even know their names, let alone who they are, what they did, where they came from. You don't know anything.
Yeah.
Okay. That's how we didn't even go back at all. It's nothing.
Well, I always think of it, you know, how in the 80s there was a big push for like the idea of global cooling, and that was the climate change worry of the 80s.
We're going to ice age. Now it's too hot.
Yeah. So as soon as like I'm in my like 70s and my son's my age, that story will be, I'm sure I remember my father once saying something about a global cooling, and then I die, and then the idea of that has disappeared, and it's whatever the current
They
bullshit
tell
is
us
about that?
everything that's going on about war, about fake space, everything. There's a video called Newsbenders, which was a 1960s television show. And there was an episode called Newsbenders. I remember the name of the show or whatever. I don't know if you guys have my app. Just go to the video search, type in Newsbenders, or just type in Benders. It'll come right up. And
type that in, you might get anything.
That's an overused term in all these phones.
Yeah, well, but if you search on the app, it only gives you good app videos. But because I don't even know where I have it hosted, but it's there. And basically, to give you the 60-second story, a guy goes to a job interview. The guy in a suit and everything, and the guy's like, "Yeah, come on in." He goes, "Look, we're gonna fake going to the moon," and he's showing him these rockets. And the guy's like, "What? You're gonna fake it?" He's like, "Oh yeah, it's much easier to do with models." And he's like, "Oh, and then the war, we're gonna fake this war and that." He's like, "Wait, you fake wars?" And he's like, "Well, what if I go and tell people?" And he goes, "Well, you can't." He goes, "Remember that spleen operation you had 10 years ago?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, they put a little device in you, and if you ever step out of line, you have a heart attack, right?" And he's like, "What?" He couldn't believe it. And he's just showing them that we fake wars, we fake space, we fake everything, and just people believe, and it's all about control. And that one thing he said is, he goes, "Who's doing this?" He goes, "Oh, it's not who." He goes, "It's the big machine upstairs." He's talking about AI. This is in the 60s, right?
What?
So watch the video. Do you have my app? You must have my app by now. No, you don't even have my app.
I've got your app.
Okay, so type in Benders in the where it says there's a little icon that's a magnifying glass. Type in Benders and then send it to Oli and watch it. It's like 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Watch it, and it's called Revelation of the Method. They always tell us what we're going to do. They always tell us what they're going to do.
So who's managed? Do you know who? Have you got any idea who is trying to keep this secret? Because everybody says the elites. Everybody says like that there is secret societies out there. But how long have they kept this a secret? Because like at one point, could you just go anywhere?
Well, in the mid 1700s, there was I forget which Bible it was. It was basically a Bible, that main religious book that said that God's within you, and basically it had all the good stuff in it. And all of the Jesuits got together and they said, "Hey, we need to remove this part of the Bible and tell people they have to go through these religious institutions to get to God. We need to be the gateway to God. That way we can control the people." And they changed all the Bibles to say you have to go to church, you have to go to temple, you have to go to the wherever.
It's the end of Stigmata, the movie Stigmata. The end of that movie. I can't remember what the quote is. It's sort of like "seek me in no building," that type of thing, isn't it? And supposedly that was a passage that was removed from the Bible because it was God, Jesus saying, "Look, just fucking worship me wherever you are."
Yeah, and they don't. It's all about control. All these religious institutions are about control. People are like, "Oh, the Catholic Church. It's great." The Catholic Church is basically the subsidy, the franchises of the Vatican. The Vatican's got to be the most evil place on earth. You guys have looked into that, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's literally. I think the devil lives in the Vatican. Okay, I had to guess where the devil lives. It's insane. And people are just like, "Oh no," But here's the thing: there's a lot of good-hearted people that go to church. They're good people and they do good things and they have a good connection with God, but they don't understand that the connection's with them. It's not through the church.
Mm.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, going back to the Vatican, though, I mean, I know they've got shitloads of stuff underneath there. They've got
shitloads of stuff.
A room that's like a serpent.
Yeah,
with God knows what's going on in the background where the Pope sits, where it's got all that intermeshed. Like
they've got
H.R. Geiger art.
There's devil stuff in there. Look at the Vatican from the sky. It's a fucking snake. You see the snake? You've seen the snake, right? Mm-hmm. And then inside the Vatican, you can see the eyes and the teeth coming down on the stage. It's like there's no question. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy fact.
I mean, could you imagine if that was a coincidence? Like
there's no coincidence.
Oh no, absolutely not. But could you imagine walking in that room and going, "It kind of looks a bit like a serpent's head. This place. I think we've made a mistake somewhere." I mean, I have questions about Vatican. It's just the fact they have a private library that no one can go into. You know, it's you're supposed to be this like altruistic entity that's there to help people and guide people. Yet you have the lock and key. What I believe was probably like I don't believe the Library of Alexandria as the fucking hell, I can't speak now. The libraries of Alexandria, I don't believe were burnt. I think they were moved. I'm sure there is a load of other places where things have been taken and stolen and stored down there.
So you guys are in America, right?
No, we're in the UK.
Oh, you're in the UK. So in America, there's a great story of the Great Chicago Fire. Are you guys taught about that in school?
I've been a nut for on my lunch break, and
you love it.
Like,
Good for you.
Stuff like
Have you watched every episode yet?
Do you know what? I haven't done a bad job of it. I've definitely had days off where I've done nothing but watch that. So I've
good for you. Good for you.
A load of them.
Listen, and he doesn't get everything right. He gets most of it right, and he doesn't make a lot of claims. He says, this is what they're saying. It's completely retarded, right? Yeah. And then he did, like, this building was built in 1801 in 1 year, and you look at it like we couldn't build that today in 1 year. And then, but you look at it, the picture of it, there's old growth trees, and the building looks 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just incredible. It's incredible. People don't. I tell people, watch my lunch break. You can find it on YouTube, everywhere else. Just look up my lunch break. If you have my app, it's in the Tartaria Old World section. And then you'll never be able to walk out in your hometown or anywhere, any city, without going, holy crap, how did I miss that? How did I miss that? Everywhere. It's incredible.
It annoys me so much because like the Tartaria stuff and world fairs and things hadn't come across me at the time. But I think it might have been probably 2018. I was in Milan, and I did a tour around the cathedral that's in the center of Milan. I just went round, just like, oh yeah, this is it must took ages to build this, and then it's only later on I've gone like, fucking idiot, how was I in that building, looking around that building, not going, there's no way,
hand carved chisels and fucking hammers with donkeys pulling their carts.
Yeah. And a population of like 1,000 people, and you just happened to have enough people that were master craftsmen out of 1,000.
It's incredible.
I live on an island of fucking 80,000 people where I am, because I live on a small island. It's difficult enough to find a decent plasterer over here.
Yeah, it's just incredible how people just will believe anything. They'll just believe anything because that's what they're told, and you have your overview of what history was. You know, in America, we had the Wild West, and they're going out west and putting up little wood shacks. Meanwhile, San Francisco was fully built out with castles and etheric buildings and incredible stuff. People are lazy. That's how they get away with it. Go ahead.
Have you seen? Has anybody ever handed you or shown you an image of anything like let's just say the ice wall or anything past the ice wall that you've looked at and gone, holy shit, that could be real?
Yeah, so we've seen video of the ice wall. I mean, the ice wall is just the shoreline of it's like the cliffs of Dover. It's not the cliffs of Dover is on a wall. It's just the shoreline. If you look at the average height of every continent, if Antarctica is a continent, Antarctica is over double the height of the second highest continent. So double the height. What are you going to expect when you get there? You expect the fucking plateau to be a couple 100 feet in the air. That's it. Right now, there are probably areas where there's a slope down to the water, right? Rocky, icy slope. Who knows, right? But and does it go all the way around, or are there passages? Is there another wall? Is there another circle around that? Lord of the Rings.
But you showed the ship going through on the last show we did on Alien Addict.
Yeah.
That blew my mind when that in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of ships going through Antarctica, but if you unwind Antarctica and you realize that's the outer area, and if Antarctica is a ring around us, they might be going through there into another ocean where there's other land, extraterrestrials from the outer space. That's physically possible. I don't know if there's other lands beyond Antarctica. I think there are. I'd bet you heavy odds that there are. but it's still just a theory. There's tons of evidence. There's tons of stories. The Iron Republic, everybody should read that book. The Navigator Who Crossed the Ice Wall, and every other book that guy wrote. Amazing stuff. The Smoky God. There's so many books in the book section on the app. Just go to More Land and check out those books. Amazing.
Did you feel it was a like the hidden history part of it? Did you feel that was a missing piece when that started to come around? Which
the More Land?
Yeah, well, no. So the old world stuff, the idea.
The old world.
Like
when I first heard, I'm like, wait a minute, and it took me. I was like, let me look into this more. And my lunch break, I don't think it's possible to watch 5 of my lunch breaks and not go, what the holy fuck, right?
Yeah,
it's impossible. And then we start looking and we start seeing about Titans, and another favorite channel I have is I think it's called, what the hell's the name? The Doctor is in, or basically he's in the
Simon Dan.
No, Simon. Hysterical. You're funny. I'm the Improbable Dreamer, right? I'm the Improbable Dreamer. He's on Instagram and TikTok. His stuff is amazing, but he's showing giants. He's showing giant trees. He's showing Titans. If you look in Stellium 7, he's in the old world section also. He's showing, nature, geology is biology. And near him is a mountain that if you look at it, you can go, that does look like a fucking elephant, elephant type of being, right? But it's a mountain, right?
Yeah,
and there's an eye, there's a trunk and everything. Have you seen the Stellium 7 stuff?
I've seen the elephant you're talking about.
Yeah, but he went up on that mountain and he went into the eye. And he first had an anatomy, looked up anatomy of what, in your eye, you have all of these nerve endings that go into the brain and everything. And all of those tunnels were there. He found over like 20 things that match the eye of an elephant in that tunnel.
So
right?
We're talking Titans.
We're talking, when we say giants, there's video of giants, 10, 15, 16 feet tall. That's a giant. That's a fucking midget next to what was out there. I'm talking giants like, bigger than the story of Paul Bunyan. Giants that are, measured in miles. Maybe. I don't know.
Godzilla.
I'm talking way bigger than Godzilla, right? Again, there's so much evidence. And dragons, right? Dragons, dinosaurs were created to hide dragons and giant humans. Yeah, we found this bone. Oh, that's not a human. That's a dinosaur. And but there's dragons. I think that there's dragons that are in miles and miles and miles long, right? Mm-hmm. Dragons, fucking dragons, right? And we found a 1949 dictionary. You look up dragon, it says, wings, serpent, blah, blah, blah. And it says, now rare.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's in the app. Just type in dragons in the video search section and you'll find that section.
The only supposed, the only supposed mythical creature isn't in the Chinese zodiac.
Yeah. They got 12 real creatures and then a fake one just to fuck everybody up. Right. Yeah. Perfect.
But every culture has legends of dragons.
Everyone. And then you look at all these old buildings, they have angels and dragons and gargoyles. And what's that about? Mm-hmm. Right. I think that these buildings, people say, well, how were they built? If we didn't build, how were they built? Right. So you're God and you're creating this earth, right? You create this incredible realm. You got everything everywhere. And you're going to throw Adam and Eve and some people down here, however you're going to do it. And then what do you do? You throw them a fig leaf, throw them in a cave and say, hope you find fire soon, right? Or do you build some friggin' infrastructure? Do you build like etheric energy, free energy buildings and technology? And do you hook them up with like a kingdom of heaven, right? Maybe that's what this place was. Maybe. There's so much stuff underground. I think there's more stuff underground than there is above ground.
Do you think there's a civilization underground?
People, cities, technology, information. Yeah, I think there's more underground than there is above ground.
So the question would that be then? Do you think that like the civilizations that are underground, do they interact with us on the top? Or is that part of the control structure?
I don't know. I think that the extraterrestrials come from the outer lands. So rather than an extraterrestrial coming from a planet traveling, 28,000 years just to go, 4 light years, right? And then coming here and crashing in Roswell make no sense. I think that the extraterrestrials could come just from the outer lands on the other side of Antarctica. They could do a day trip, right? You need to abduct an American and anally probe him. The guy could leave his house in the outer lands, come here, abduct some West Virginian guy, probe his anus, and make it back home in time for dinner with the kids. Okay? Mm-hmm. I mean, it could. I mean, that's how close things are. Everyone's waiting for disclosure. Disclosure's here. I think that there's people in the know that we see every day in our lives. We don't know who they are. They're just walking around. Your great grandparents could have come from the outer lands. You don't know. If you looked into the orphan trains,
not as much as I have the buildings, but I know bits about them and the Cabbage Patch Kids and stuff.
Yeah, the Cabbage Patch Kids. That's a rabbit hole. On my app, on the Tartaria page, which is the Griffin button, there's a Cabbage Patch Kids section. There's the giant trees. There's the orphan trains. Start looking into that stuff. But if you're new to this stuff, stay away from that page because you're gonna kill yourself. You're gonna get lost in the rabbit hole.
I think the World's Fairs is such a good entry into
baby incubators. Stuff. Yeah, it's all there. Again, if you're looking for a place to start, I just say start with My Lunch Break. Just start binge watching his stuff. Watch the new stuff. Go back. How about the dams? The dams, right? So all these giant dams all over the earth. In Egypt, there was like 1,300 incredible archaeological sites, temples, all sorts of stuff, and none of it fit our timeline. So what did Egypt do? They built a gigantic dam. They put, a couple thousand square miles or however big it was under 300-400 feet of water, right? They buried the whole thing. It's like, we need this reservoir. So they buried 1,300, probably more, but they admit to 1,300 sites. And guess what? No scuba diving because they don't want you to disturb or pilfer the ancient sites. Wait a minute. The ancient sites that they just buried under 300 feet of water, they don't want you scuba diving because you might disturb them.
Yeah, it does make
right.
sense.
And the people are like, oh yeah, it makes sense. They needed the water, and it's so frigging crazy what's going on.
Well,
and that's everywhere.
Of the Hoover Dam as well.
The Hoover Dam, absolutely. Hoover Dam, and China has dams, and all these dams are put in places that are burying our past. But now there's lots of dams where there's water levels are going down, and they're finding stuff like in the Great Lake. I think it's one of the Great Lakes here. Some giant lake somewhere. They found like 2 or 3 miles offshore this gigantic rock circular structure, and they found out it's an intake valve to a pipe, not a pipe, a fucking tunnel that's a little like 200 feet below the lake bed, and it goes into the city, and that's where they get their fresh water from, right? And the story is that the people back with their horse and buggies and and their rowboats, they put up cofferdams, they sucked all the water out, they got down to the bottom of the lake bed, they dug another 200 feet, and then they dug out with no power tools, and they dug a fucking tunnel into the city, right? While the lake was there. This is bullshit. This stuff was there before the lake ever existed. Maybe it was done and then they created a dam and built the lake, or maybe it was divinely built beforehand. I couldn't tell you.
It's interesting. I'd never thought about this before you brought the dams up. I'm massively skeptical about all of the UFO disclosure stuff that's going on, and all of the people that are involved in it, like the Ross Coulthards and stuff. They all seem to. They all seem to say nothing, and then all of a sudden they'll just be on a show and they'll put something out that is on everyone's YouTube videos all of a sudden.
Well,
but Ross Coulthard said that there was a place outside of the US where they discovered like a flying disc that was so large that they had to build something on top of it. Now, I personally think Ross Coulthard's full of shit, but I also think that they spread certain truths in amongst what they're saying to get away with what it is. But the idea of of putting a dam over something, that it hadn't occurred to me until you just said that.
Yeah. So they every time they find one of these underground tunnels that goes to a city, all of a sudden they just build a military base right there. Like here in America, we have Cheyenne Mountain. It's supposedly NORAD's headquarters, and in case of like a nuclear attack. They didn't build that shit. That shit was there. And there's tunnels in there that go probably from there to the UK, let alone across America. There's incredible stuff underground that is absolutely mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the you mentioned Egypt.
Yeah.
And I just got thoughts then of like these giant helicopters, these giant elephants. They could easily shift them stones. But have you seen the LiDAR footage of
the Egypt, the Pyramid of Egypt, showing I've been watching it carefully. There's definitely some truth to it. I actually was like, do I believe this? And then when Hari Awas, or whatever the guy's name, the head guy, when he said it was fake, I'm like, okay, it's real. I'm in. I'm diving in, because whatever that guy says, the opposite is the fucking truth. He's the biggest gatekeeper in the world. And why won't they let people use ground penetrating radar? They're like, sure, yeah, let's see what's under it. Nope. No one's allowed to. It's wild what's out there.
Are they allowed to use that over Antarctica?
No one's allowed to fly over Antarctica, so no.
Interesting. I wonder what they find over there.
I think there's pyramids they've already found there. You got to be careful now. There's so much AI. Like, oh, look what's on the other side of the ice wall, pictures, and they show literally a fucking wall. On the other side of the wall, there's buildings and all sorts of old buildings and stuff. Bullshit. That's all bullshit.
Do you think that the part of the fact, because I've said this a few times, that like technology with the elites is probably 20, 30, maybe 10 years ahead in some departments?
I think it's 200 years.
Okay, so but do you think now that they've released the massive tool, which is AI video, out there, is because there is about to be some truth bombs shown, and they will just blame it on AI?
100%. They're gonna, like, when if the tapes ever came out of like Hillary Clinton eating a baby's brain, they'll be like, oh, that's AI. You don't know, and everyone's gonna doubt everything. And listen, I hear you. We called it, a decade ago. We said soon they're going to have AI, and you're not going to know what's real or what's not, right? And the consumer AI now, you can fool people with it. That's the consumer friggin' AI. And by the way, I think they had AI in the fucking 1700s, right? We think that we're at the pinnacle of civilization. We are literally in the closing credits of the movie Idiocracy.
So do you think that technology still exists and it's being hidden from like
absolutely they're releasing? There's nothing new under the sun. They're just slowly releasing what they want us to have. And the thing is, a lot of people get depressed, like, well, there's nothing I could do, it's too big of a thing. No, I actually think this is an intelligence test. I think they're literally going to weed out all of the nonsensical people, and they're going to reset the world with people that actually have brains to think. Right? Or it could be the opposite. They'll kill us all and just have the idiots running the world.
I think the COVID vaccine was an intelligence test.
For sure.
That was just let's see who's actually listening, because all of the information was out there. All of the reasons not to take that thing were out there from day one, before it even like hit the store shelves. It was obvious.
Revelation of the method.
Do. Yeah.
They're always telling us the truth. Always.
So I don't know how long you've been into this now, Dave, because I know you weren't always a flat earther. You started off and you were just
2014. I became a flat earther.
I listened to you. I listened to you become a flat earther in real time on the Rabbit Hole podcast.
Deep inside the rabbit hole. Good for you, man. Nice. And let me just say, Mike Cannon, the comedian on the show. So for those who don't know, I did a podcast before I was a flat earther called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, and it was done at the New York City Comedy Club. They had a big podcast studio, and it had to be some element of comedy. So my buddy Tim and I, who were basically truth telling at the lunchroom at the company we worked for, he's like, "Hey, we could do this podcast, and we got a great setup. You and I will be the truth tellers, and Mike Cannon, a comedian, he'll be the comedian try to turn everything into a fart joke, which is kind of funny. It was actually worked out pretty good. We literally had brawls where like jump across the table and tried to kill each other, and people thought it was all a fucking act. None of it was an act. Okay. And in the third year, people heard me tell this story. People started sending me flat earth stuff. I banned them from my social media for being so stupid. No, the earth isn't flat. Then I was forced to look by my friend Sophia Smallstorm. And I tried to debunk it, couldn't do it. And here I am, Flat Earth Dave, talking to you guys again. And the point I was going to make was, what was the question you just asked me? I lost it again.
How long you been a flat earther for?
Yeah, since 2014. But the Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole podcast. Oh, what was I saying about that? I just lost the friggin' thread again.
You were talking about your host.
Oh yeah, Mike. So Mike is on a comedy tour and he's trying to get picked up by Netflix or something. And he removed all the episodes. He took them down because he was afraid that Comedy Central or somebody would see them and he won't get his big contract. So took them down and they're gone. They're fucking gone.
I mean, if you have to take a podcast down talking about like conspiracy theories, and you're a comedian, that's a conspiracy in itself.
There it is, absolutely. But God bless Mike. Let him. I hope he does well. But that podcast went for 3 years every week, and it was crazy. It was crazy.
Well, the reason why I wanted to ask you that, so obviously flat Earths it's been a hot topic now since, what was it, 2017 or something, 2013?
2014,
right? Okay, so there's a lot of podcasts that I watch and a lot of people out there that I watch, and I wonder who you think. I'm going to ask you who you think is a flat earther or a globe earther.
Go ahead.
Let's start with the man that's controlling your country at the moment, Donald Trump.
I don't know, man. So, let's look at a couple things. So he was a World Wrestling Federation participant. He played, some wrestling moves. So he is an actor. He was big finance guy and was so broke that the banks bailed him out because they couldn't afford to let him go broke. Right. So that's a form of control right there. He faked his assassination, the ear thing. If anyone's not sure that he was shot at, he wasn't. You can go to stoplookthink.com, which is the old Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. It's a offshoot from that. Stoplookthink.com. Scroll down, you see the bar that says Trump assassination. Watch those videos, then you'll know that he's 100% in on it. So, is he just a stooge that's in on it? Does he know? I go back and forth. He's totally in on it, 100%, or he's just stupid and uninformed and doing whatever they tell him to say and do. I'll go with the second one right now. Elon Musk, I don't even know if he can think for himself at all. None of his companies are real. They're real companies, but he doesn't run any of them. And he could just be a completely MK Ultra mind-controlled idiot. And maybe he thinks he's going to space, but he's not. He could just be total mind controlled. Weirdest guy ever. So
we had an interesting thing the other day where we were doing an episode that involved Elon Musk, and we didn't really mean to even do it. It was just we had two different clips, and we played the more modern clip, which was like maybe a couple of months ago first, and then we had another clip of him speaking from like 2016. I want to know where the 2016 guy went.
Yeah, they might have been replaced. He might have been replaced. Yeah. Now, listen, people laugh at cloning. People laugh at stuff. There's so much evidence of cloning and moving people's consciousness from one body to another. We are in a war with spirits and principalities. It's not a war of human flesh. And there's stuff that's going on that's beyond it, beyond what you can even imagine. There's
well, they moved Joe Biden's consciousness. They just forgot to.
Well, he didn't have any. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Have you looked into Darius J. Wright, the guy from Australia? So on my app in the homeschool section, there's Darius J. Wright, And I did an interview with him. This is the guy that does OBS, outer body traveling, right? He OBEs. And it started happening to him when he was 16, didn't know what was going on. And he literally goes out and he's proven, like he's gone out, looked at his friends, and then they call his friends later and says, hey, Johnny, you're wearing the red shirt tonight and you ate a meatball parm. And he could see what's going on. So he does all of this stuff, but he basically can get out of this construct and travel and see it from the non-physical point of view. And the first thing he said on our interview, when I did an interview with him, he goes, I could assure you the earth is flat. I could assure you. But it's more than we just think it is. It is a construct that is difficult for the human mind to conceive. And one thing he says, which I've always known, but he puts into such better words, is we are immortal and there's nothing that can kill us. Our physical body, yes, of course. And there's nothing to fear. And once you understand that and live in unconditional love for everything, nothing can touch you. But the problem is they have us so scared and afraid and hating each other, and they want us to believe in systemic racism, and they have globe versus flat fighting, and Russia versus America fighting, and Jews versus Christians, and it's incredible. Jets versus Giants football here in America. You got your different teams fighting with each other. I mean, they want everybody fighting. They want us all fighting in a low vibration, and that's not the world I live in. So, do you wonder then if, because everything you said there was a system of control, like be it like religion, gender, race, identity, all the things we're arguing about these days. Yeah. Do you think that the old world then, like the Tartaria, whatever it was, because I know Tartaria, I think, is just like a blanket statement we're using now, isn't it, for the old world? Yeah, I call it the old world. Yeah. Do you think that was essentially like a one world religion, one world people? That's a great question. Wait, it was a one. Ask that question again. So, do you think the old world was like a global civilization with like a one world, one people, one religion? Because I'm not sure. I think that it was a world with no wars, and people could travel anywhere. I mean, they took away our airships, right? And when we say airships, people look at the Hindenburg, or it was too dangerous. No, there was airships everywhere. There was airships that hold thousands of people, right? You have your own estate room. There was plays and restaurants in these airships, and they fly all over the world, right? And you think about it, an airship doesn't need a lot of energy to stay up in the air, right? And then they have radium engines, and guess what the exhaust of a radium engine is? Don't know. Helium. Wow. So yeah. It could just stay up there forever. It could just keep. It could just to keep restocking the helium where they need it, and it could travel anywhere. These things were everywhere, and they've wiped that from our history, and they made us think, oh no, the Hindenburg, we can't do that. And then that's with hydrogen, and was that Hindenburg helium? Hindenburg, I think Hindenburg was helium. And then the hydrogen bomb, oh my God, hydrogen. So no one's even thinking airships, but now airships are starting to come back and stuff. But airships, like if we want to go explore Antarctica, an airship is the way to do it. I'm surprised that with the climate scam, that airships haven't been talked about before now in serious conversations, because if you're one of the man-made climate change crazy people, it's the perfect solution, surely. 100%. Airships solve all the problems. People, why would I want to go into an airship? It goes too slow. Airship goes faster than a cruise ship, and cruise ships are packed all the time. Yeah. What would you rather do? Cross the ocean on an airship or a cruise ship? Fuck yeah, send me up there.
Wait, people always say, and you always hear this saying, go on a plane, safest way to travel. Go on a plane, safest way to travel. I feel a bit more comfortable on an airship, because if there's a problem, that thing's coming down slow. It comes down slow, right? It comes down slow. The whole Hindenburg thing, that was just a psyop. That was on purpose, right? It was. Who knows what really happened there? The thing, oddly, we're talking about the Hindenburg disaster, because I'd never heard it before. I'd seen the video of the crash. Yeah.
I hadn't heard the speaking behind it. You know, the guy talking.
Oh, the
about it,
humanity.
Ah,
Yeah, it's all
bullshit.
nonsense.
Yeah.
Such bullshit.
It sounded acted.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so weird.
So I asked you about Donald Trump and Elon Musk, but I
go ahead.
need to ask you about these, and I'll just
Go.
reel both the names:
Go ahead.
Alex Jones and Joe fucking Rogan.
So
Flat
Alex,
Earthers
so
are globers.
I'm 100% that Alex Jones knows the Earth is flat because I was there in his studio with Eddie Bravo. We had my second interview with him, and we were talking flat Earth. He didn't want to talk flat Earth, right? Like we're there to talk about flat Earth, right? And it was his highest viewed segment in all 25 or so years. And the reason is because it was the day Donald Trump got indicted. And we were the sitcom that came after literally the Super Bowl, right? So that's so we had a huge lead in, and then everyone loves flat Earth, and so we were going on and on about it. And during the breaks, which there were plenty of, we're like we were busting his stones. Like Eddie's like, Alex, you're doing a good job playing the devil's advocate, and Alex is just fucking smiling, sipping on his fucking vodka, and smoking his cigarette, and and he all but admitted. But the thing is, I think Alex walks a fine line where he knows what he can say, knows what he can't say. He puts out a lot of truth. Alex Jones is the one that woke me up before everything. He was like the first guy that woke me up. And so, is he a gatekeeper, a willful gatekeeper, or is he an unknown spiritually, controlled, mind controlled person? I'll go with the second, but I don't know. Just guessing. And then the other one was who?
Rogan.
Rogan is just in it for the money. I mean, basically, Rogan said he would lie to his mother, for the right price. And Rogan had a show, Joe Rogan Investigates Everything. And he looked into chemtrails and whatnot. Then he goes on vacation and he comes back. He interviews Neil deGrasse Tyson. He flips over on his moon landing stance. Joe Rogan was the moon landing is a hoax guy. And he says, you'll never convince me that the moon landing was real. He goes on vacation, comes back, gets $100 million contract, and interviews Neil deGrasse Tyson and goes, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe the moon landing is real. He's a sellout. So whether he believes it or not, or he just did it for the money, I don't know.
I think he's back on the moon. He's back on the we didn't go to the moon train now, though, isn't he?
That's interesting. Maybe he's doing that to build back credibility because basically they're like, yeah, go ahead. Everyone knows it's fucking fake already. But the thing is, the fact that people are learning that the moon is fake, the fact that the CIA admitted that they killed Kennedy and nobody cares, they did a great job. They did a great job. There should be a revolution. They're like, okay, you killed Kennedy, the entire government goes down, right? Oh, you're faking the moon landing? The entire fucking government goes down. Everything. Right? Well, but no, nobody does anything because nobody, we're lazy, vaccinated, fluoridated, poison, lazy Americans.
Do you think there's a way out then? Like, do you think there's a way out to making things better, or are we just?
Yes, we just need to wake up. You need to wake up. There's more and more and more people waking up every day. On my app, the Flat Earth Sun Moon and Zodiac Clock app, there's more and more people getting on there. More and more people waking people up every day. And once you go flat, you never glow back because you can't. Right now, what about Jared? He was, there are people that are compromised, whether you're paid or possessed. I couldn't tell you, but. The TFE people, they gave up on their slogan. They're like, there's a mass exodus from flat Earth, a mass exodus. Yeah, in 14 years, like 8 people have supposedly left flat Earth. Meanwhile, since we started talking, 50 people joined my app. Okay, or whatever. I don't know the exact number, but there's hundreds of people every day.
Do you know a roundabout number of how many people have got the app now? I don't know if you can say that.
Well, I can say it here on the app, on the friend finder, there's 220,000.
Jesus.
Yeah. Nice. 220,000. And that represents probably 1% of the flat earthers out there. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, a lot of people, when you go flat, you don't like talking to regular people. You just want to wake them up. Or if you can find another flat earther in your area, that's great. They instantly become your best friend because you can talk about everything. On there's a friend finder. You can literally see people around you. You can look at their profiles. You can message them. You can do meetups. It'll notify everybody in your area that you're doing a meetup. And there's a dating feature on there now since we last talked. where you can put in your age, your I'm interested in women between this age group within 150 miles. Search, and then you could swipe from page to page to page, send them a message. It's fantastic.
Please tell me you've called that part of the app Flatmates.
Flatmates. Well, that's a UK thing. It's called we call it the matchmaker, because it's not just about dating. It's literally matching you up with a good friend. Male, female, male, male, female, female, whatever. It's not, but there's a lot of people that have already gotten married, already had kids. There's people best friends. There's people building, communities together, off the grid communities, and they all found each other on the app. So that's why TFE was about. It was about taking me down and taking the app down, right? And no one could tell me otherwise, because Duffy literally found me beforehand. They said, "Yep, Dave, you won. 80% of the flat earthers say that you should go." And the truth is, if this was a real thing, I'm the last person that should go. I suck at cameras. I suck at fucking GPS. I suck at all those calculations. You need somebody like an Austin Whitsitt or Alan from Globebusters. Those guys. No, you need like a Crow 777 radio with his hydrogen alpha telescope, right? There's so much wrong with that psyop. It is pathetic. It's really bad.
The most surprising thing for me was Jeranism, because I'd watched Jeranism for quite some time. And
me too. I was friends with him. I was good friends with him.
The main thing for me is because I loved looking at some of the stuff that he did with ISS, where he was showing the footage. But has he done a complete U-turn on that as well? All the ISS footage is real.
He believes Katy Perry went to space. That's what he says. So now the question is he that good of a liar, or is he possessed? Like literally spiritually possessed, or is he replaced? I don't know. Not claiming it. I think it's more of a spiritual possession. I think, you get somebody that's down and out, somebody that's broke, somebody that's scared, and you spiritually get to them. You pull the foundation of safety out from underneath them over years, and then you get them, right? And people become possessed with spirits. It's not like I keep saying the word possessed, but there's not a better word for it. You're possessed with a good spirit, Oli and Lee, that you have your spirit. Now you can get into a situation in your life where you're just down and out, and you let some evil spirits get in.
Yep.
That I believe. I believe it's one of the reasons why sort of alcoholism and drugs really get a hold of people.
That's why they call it spirits.
I think that humans naturally have some sort of like spiritual firewall that's that can be fucking chipped away at, and then the next thing is you're in some real trouble. Even I don't mean like manifesting like full on possessions and stuff like that, but just if something can get your hooks in, then the next thing is you get like fucking bad luck follows you.
Jaron was so sure that he was going to see the circling sun. He's like, the sun's see the setting sun, right? And he's like, he goes, if they try to fake it, we're going to catch them. And I believe he was honest in saying that, but he spiritually made a deal like, hey, if I see the sun circle, I'm going to have to switch to the globe. And so when he saw the sun circle, he couldn't fathom that they could fake it. Now, you guys have seen the stuff on the sun simulator over the last 5 years or so. There was like a patent and some photos leaked. That is called a red herring, right? Because having this big array of lights on a metal, ball of lights.
China did one, didn't they?
Well, no, that was that you saw a rocket go up, and it was just so bright. Everyone said it was the sun, and it was just a fucking bright rocket. And I don't know if it was on purpose to make people think more about that. That could have been part of it, but the actual physical sun simulator is a red herring, because we'd be able to tell. We'd be able to zoom in on it. We'd be able to see anomalies, because the sun, the real sun that we see, I believe it's a projection through the lens of the dome. So if you're going to fake a fucking sun, it needs to be a projection through a lens. Otherwise, it ain't going to look right. Mm-hmm. Right? So the sun simulator was to make people think there's no way they could fake the sun, because you're thinking about the sun simulator. But the truth is that has nothing to do with how they faked it. It's all done with directed energy. There's a whistleblower from Lockheed that said in Antarctica, there's directed energy technology that you can't even fathom.
Mm-hmm.
So advanced.
That's the bit that I can't fathom, because you just mentioned the dome there, and the confusing thing with me, and your app right there, it shows what I would imagine the flat Earth model to look like. But I've seen these models where it's got land. How does the firmament work on that, like the dome?
Well, we don't live in a space vacuum. We live, God separated the waters from the waters and created the firmament. So I think that there's water above the dome. Where are you guys? In the UK?
Yes,
I'm in the Isle of Man. Me.
All right, so it's hard for you guys to see, but are you about here?
Yeah, I'm between England and Ireland.
All right, so the sun just set for you guys just a little while ago.
Yeah.
It
okay.
just started to get
so
dark.
So I can call somebody over here in Mexico and say, "Is that Mexico? No, that's not Mexico. Is that Mexico? No, this is Well, wherever the sun is, I can call somebody and say, "Where's the sun?" They say it's right above me. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They say it's right above them and it's noon. So right now, this is like Southern California. It's noon.
Yep.
Right. And I'm over here in the East Coast. It's 4 o'clock. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's like 1 o'clock on the West Coast. And then wherever the sun is, if I know somebody that lives underneath it, I can call them and say, "Where's the sun? And what time is it?" And they'll say it's above me and it's noon. So there's something to it.
I mean, looking at that, that's actually live right now as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So we have almost. Is there a full moon tonight? Look at that. Full moon tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's still bright here, which is weird as well.
Yeah. Well, because we're in the inner north and the sun is way north, so it's moving slowly. So we have a lot of twilight. All right. In the winter, the sun sets and it's dark very fast because the sun is out farther and it's moving away faster. So dark sunset to darkness is quicker in the winter in January.
So the question that I was asking, because they say, as far as I'm aware, that the dome goes. Some people's model is the dome is at the edge of the wall.
I don't know where the dome is. To say that the dome is the edge of the it goes down in Antarctica somewhere. Hey, I could buy that, but let's say it touches down 1,000,000 miles south of 60 degrees. That's 1,000,000 miles in every direction of more domed in world that we're unaware of. Okay. It could just be 100 miles or 1,000 miles. I don't know.
Right.
Again, we can speculate all we want, but we don't need to speculate to prove the Earth is stationary and flat and the sun is local and the stars are local. We can zoom in on the moon, on the planets, and bring them in focus, out of focus, but we can bring one into focus and then switch to the other and it's in focus again. How can the moon be the same focus as Jupiter?
You mentioned on the last show, because I had to re-listen today to make sure we didn't go over old ground, but I want to go over this. You mentioned that flat Earth is the most devastating thing to them. If
100%.
That's the reason that forget everything else in this world. That is the reason why most of the shit goes on here.
100%. Like in my Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole podcast, I woke people up to the 3 major psyops here in the United States, which was the September event and the Sandy School in Connecticut and the Boston Marathon bombing. And people would wake up and they'd be like, "Wow, that's interesting," and then they go right back to sleep. And they're like, the administration's going to change, and those people are gone. And then when you wake someone up to flat Earth, all of a sudden they can't deny creation. They never let it go. They wake up other people and they say no to the power structure, and they understand. They learn how to say no. They learn how to not. You don't have to participate in any of the nonsense.
Do you think it comes out in your lifetime? I
think it's already out. I think it's already out.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to come out on every single news channel in the world?
I think that it's going to go mainstream, and the news. I guess the news channels, not that they're worth their weight in salt or anything, they'll have to report on it. Sure. Yeah, I do. And I think that, and again, unless they're able to cause mayhem, shut off the power, literally put us in fight or flight mode, it's going to come out everywhere. They're going to have to literally cut off all communication for everybody.
Like a great reset.
Yeah, great reset, sure.
Which is what a lot of people, like they say that with Tartaria, they had a reset back then.
There's a lot of shit going to go down this year, in my opinion, and whether Flat Earth Awakening is part of that, I couldn't tell you. But there's a lot of stuff going down. I think it's all related to Flat Earth. They literally, the stuff that's going on is all distraction. They want people not focusing on Flat Earth. They'll start wars. They'll start financial collapse, housing collapse. They're power disruption, storms. We just had this crazy flood where water rose like 26 feet over a couple of hours. And, then there's just another storm in South Carolina yesterday. All of this stuff. And then people like, not all storms are man-made. If you look at the NEXRAD radar stations, all of these storms are man-made. You can see the pulsing of these radar stations across the country at pushing these storms along. It's insane. And people just don't want to see it.
Well, it's like that predictive programming, because we keep you're seeing all this stuff happening right now, and then I don't know if in your community you've heard these two dates, but you keep hearing 2027 and you keep hearing 2030. Something's going to happen.
Well, that we've heard dates before. We've heard 2012. We've heard 2020. Something happened in 2020. They said there was going to be a big exercise, terrorist attack on July 4th. Didn't happen. And that didn't happen maybe because we're talking about it, And so now the next thing is in 40 days from now, whatever date that is, 40 days, give or take, there's going to be something crazy that happens. I think just the fact that we talk about these things stops them from happening. You'll never be right if you predict something.
See,
if you keep it to yourself, don't write it down. Yeah, if you keep it yourself, don't write it down and don't tell anybody, then it'll happen.
When we have we've had it with you before. We had it with Mark Sargent. We had it with Hibbler on as well, because we spoke a lot of flat Earth stuff then. There is no episodes we do which get the response of people as Flat Earth does, and it's like there's no middle ground. There's no comments that go, "Oh, that was interesting." People fucking love it or they hate it. And
but either way, they love it or they hate it. Both of those are engagement. It's like if we talk about the Basketball Hall of Fame. If you did a show on the Basketball Hall of Fame, the only people that are going to listen are the people that are interested in the Basketball Hall of Fame, the people that live near the Basketball Hall of Fame. If you want to talk about, specific topics, who does Flat Earth affect? Every single person on Earth, every single day, right? It affects them. It matters. It changes their life. It's the truth, and the truth whether you know it consciously or not. Subconsciously, that's where your soul is. Your soul knows the truth. Your soul knows where it lives. Its soul knows what's going on. Its soul knows your mission that you chose when you came here. And when you talk Flat Earth, your soul wakes up and goes, yes, tell me more. I've seen Flat Earth pull people out of depression, pull people out of drug addiction, because people get depressed because their soul is screaming at their brain, but their brain is lost in the television programming. It can't hear anything, and the soul gets depressed. So the body gets depressed. But then when the soul hears some truth and sees the conscious mind engaging in that truth, the soul will lift the person up and bring them out of that depression.
Mm-hmm. Well, how do you deal with that? Like the polarization of people, because like you have to be a certain type of person to handle the comments and stuff like that. And you've gone from a guy that was on a conspiracy podcast to a guy which was dabbling in flat Earth to kind of like you're the flat Earth guy. So how is it like having that much like attention, especially the negative attention all the time?
Well, I don't pay attention to the negative stuff, and you have to learn, like when I go through comments and stuff, the first two words, I'm like, oh, that's a negative thing. And I love people say, well, hey, how does this work? Right? Well, people say Flat Earth is stupid because I don't even read the rest of the sentence. Banned for life. Done. Right? Because that person doesn't want to learn anything. right? So comments don't set me off at all. There's a lot of fighting within the flat Earth community. You're doing this, and you're manipulative, and you like the outer lands, and there's no proof of the outer. Stop it, everyone. But here's what you learn: you cannot change anybody's behavior. Nothing. There's nothing you can do. The only thing you can do is set an example. And so when I run into drama, I just like, oh, that's not for me. I'm just going to go somewhere else. And I was on a live on TikTok. I go on TikTok lives a lot. And I had a great time. We're talking, flat smacking these people. When I say ignorant glober, an ignorant glober is a normal person that doesn't know his own model, that thinks it's a globe. That's nothing negative. It's just an ignorant glober, right? Then you have the disingenuous globers. Those are the ones that know the model and just lie to defend it. Then you have the paid agents or the possessed agents, same thing, that are out there to deceive, right? So we're on this live and we had a bunch of ignorant globers on there, and we're literally what we call flat smacking, just laying down the gravy. And it was great for an hour. And then I was like, all right, I got to go. And then I found out later on that live, all the flat earthers were just attacking each other, right? I think that's a spiritual infestation that's going on. But I went back to that. I had to do something. I went back to that live and I listened for 10, 20, 30 seconds. I'm like, oh, this. I don't want to hear any of this. And I just turn it off and I go somewhere else. So in my world, none of that shit's happening. I just focus on the good stuff, right? Like I shared, I won't say the person's name, but I shared a video by a guy that's attacked me 100 fucking times, but he made a great video, so I shared his great video. I don't pay attention to the nonsense.
It's good. It's a good way to be. I just find it's so interesting where we'll get comments when we do a flat Earth episode, and it might not be verbatim, but it'll be something like this is ridiculous. I don't know why you guys are giving airtime to this sort of stuff. But then the next comment from that same person will be, can you like an episode on fairies? I really like fairies. I feel like I can never understand people that are interested into this sort of stuff, that find like alternative topics interesting. But
you could do an episode on globe believers if you want to do one on fairies.
Wouldn't that be interesting? Like if it does happen, you get the bombshell, all the news channels, it's flat, and then lo and behold, 200 years from now, everybody's going, it's a fucking globe.
No, never happened. You know what's going to happen? This is what's going to happen. People are going to look back, go, do you remember in the early 2000s and before, people thought the Earth was a spinning globe, and they're going to be like, no, they fucking didn't. No way. That's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be that.
Well, Dave, tell everybody where they can get your app. I'm going to get it straight away after this show.
So the app is $3 and you get 95% of the app. But if you want to use the profiles, and you want to be able to contact people, message them through the friend finder, use the dating app, use the flashcards. We have over 225 flat earth proof flashcards that you can share with other people that don't even have the app. If you want to use those features, there's a subscription, and it's $11 a year. Okay. Easy schmeezy, right? $11 a year. But you don't have to get the subscription. I would appreciate it if you did, because it helps support the people that don't do that, because the app doesn't make any money just on the $3. But get the app.
$11 a year is barely a subscription.
It's I find a subscription that's less than that. It's less than $1 a month, right? And you can also, if you don't like, it auto renews, but it warns you. If you can email me and say, hey, I don't want to auto renew, but I want the subscription. I would like 2 years or whatever. Boom, $20, and I'll activate you, and you can just pay offline. A lot of people like doing that because they just. I'm one of those guys. I don't like having things that reoccur, right? Because you forget about. But luckily, iTunes and Google Play, they always warn you, hey, this is about to renew. Are you sure you want to renew it? So there's no worries there. But also on the app, if you go in the friend finder section, there's a button on the upper left. It's the referral section. Create a referral code, and then anytime you're showing the app to somebody, showing them memes on the app, showing them videos, showing them flashcards, they'll say, "Where do I get that app?" You say, "Oh, you get it here, but use my referral code, and you get a point, and you get 1 million dome cryptocurrency." But ignore that for right now. You get a point. And if you have 11 points, you can trade them in for a year subscription. So it's super easy. And by the way, if you're a flat earther and you're learning stuff and you're sharing it with other people from the app, every single person will say, where do I get that app? Right? And then you say, just use my referral code, and then boom, point. You get 11 points. You'll have 11 million dome cryptocurrency, which will cost way more than what you paid for the app, and you get it for free. And that's it. It's super easy. There's so much stuff in there that we didn't even talk about. There's a biblical section. There's games. There's images. You can search for any images you want. Like, oh, you think the moon landing's real? Moon landing. And all of the images come up, and people will like, that can't be real. That looks like a homeless tweaker shelter. So there's books. There's frequently asked questions, which is an important page. There's shopping for flat earth merchandise. There's a homeschool. And then all sorts of other tools to help you see how the flat earth sky clock works. So flatearthdave.com is the only thing you have to remember. Follow me I have a bunch of YouTube channels on TikTok, X, Flat Earth Dave X. But everything is linked on my website. So all you have to remember is flatearthdave.com.
I will stick that in the description of the podcast.
Yep. Flatearthdave.com.
And where did you get that t-shirt from? This
t-shirt, it's in my t-shirt shop. Just click the shopping cart on the app, and there's great t-shirts. I have another one that says it's a drop of blood. That's a big red drop of blood, and it says trust the science. It gives you blood clots. What's that?
You didn't even prompt me either. I just like the t-shirt.
We need to bring our Flat Earth t-shirt back.
Oh yes,
because we swap t-shirts in and out of our store for now and again, and we had the flat Earth map with "I'm not a flat earther," and then on the back of the t-shirt it was "but."
But the Earth is not a globe. The flat Earth t-shirts there's so many good ones. Here's my Trust the Science. Trust the Science. It gives you blood clots. That's a big seller these days.
I bet it is.
And then You're Not Stupid, It's Stupid, basically showing the globe. And again, no one can see what I'm showing here, so it's all good. Check it out, flatearthdave.com.
They will see it on our YouTube channel as well.
Okay.
Awesome. But the podcast is where
anybody in the US, I'm going to be speaking at several events. One of them is called what the hell is it called? It's called internationaltruthexpo.com, and it's in Arizona, USA. You guys probably don't know where that is. And it's November 7th and 8th and 9th. And it's awesome. And if you use the code FEDAVE off a 3-day pass, you get $50 off. It's the tickets aren't too expensive, and it's going to be 3 days of incredible truth. You got Ace Baker from the 9/11 Truth Movement. He's amazing. I would just go to see him. Andrew Kaufman, myself, and many others. So internationaltruthexpo.com and use the code FEDAVE.
Well, Dave, I know you said that we might not know where Arizona is, but we do live in the same.
All right, I threw that out there because somebody asked me. I was on a big show, and they mentioned. I can't remember where it was. What's above the UK? It's Scotland, right?
Yeah,
Scotland's in the UK, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I mean, they sound different.
Yeah, but I didn't know that, and I got a lot of shit for it. It was crazy.
It can be a bitch.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, the flat Earth geography I got down, but I just got confused on Scotland, and man, did I get in trouble.
You love Scotland, Dave. Get yourself down to Scotland. Up to Scotland.
I'm actually going to Spain to go to Conspiracy Music Gurus having a gathering in September. I'll be there. And then there's another one that's not announced yet. It's going to be in Texas in October. I'll be there.
Nice.
Awesome.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Dave. It was great. Anyone that's listened to this podcast, the normal thing with us. Go subscribe to our Patreon. That'd be great. The links are in the description for all the other stuff we've got for you. I hope to speak to you again soon, Dave. It's been really good fun. Cheers, man.
All right, man. Thanks. See ya.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Why are you a conspiracy theorist? And I said, why isn't everybody a goddamn conspiracy theorist?
This is the real research. Literally have an alien base, and they are literally communicating.
I don't have a whole lot of time.
Have you personally had any experience with interdimensional beings?
What we're thinking of as aliens, they have infiltrated a lot of aspects of military intelligence. And they are not what they claim to be.
We leave you much that is undone.
That's one small step for man.
There are great ideas undiscovered.
Visit asteroids, visit the moon of Mars.
Remove one of truth's protective layers.
There's a monolith.
They want the major population centers wiped out.
Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
One giant leap for mankind.
Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened.
Those challenges are yours.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
There are places to go beyond belief. Beyond